in terms of educational outreach, we have a lot of schools, not only in the United States, but also outside the United States. Technology is a major problem, and they could use a lot of help in terms of resources when it comes to technology. So earlier you highlight the importance of education in STEM field, right? How do you tailor? You explain that by selling your apparel, by focusing on the young, I would say Gen Z maybe, or maybe lower than that, because they are all about how they look, what they're wearing. They have to look fresh and all that.
Right.
And so that's why I'm asking this question. How do you tailor your program to ensure that, let's say in the schools, when you try to reach the schools, that the curriculum resonate with students, resonate with the students? So let me tease this out a little bit.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, I'm assuming also that the apparel that you're going to be selling is not only just targeting, you're not just selling it to inner city students, right?
No,
You're selling it to even students in the urban centers.
I send it to everyone. The
To
clothing
everyone.
is everyone.
So
Anybody can purchase the clothing, right?
So let's say that now you're going to, or maybe I should have asked you this question. Do you do any outreach to schools at all?
As far as in terms of what? In terms
In
of
terms of your clothing, your apparel. For example, I know in my schools, every year we buy apparel, right? So they ask us, what type do you want? Let's say like the hoodies, the polo shirt, things like that.
right,
And it has the name of the mascot of the school,
right,
things
right.
like that. Every year we do that. And I also know that like my children, they buy apparel from the schools. So we know that schools are actually selling these things, right?
Correct.
So my question is, do you sell to school? Do you have an outreach to schools? And then if you do, every school is different. Schools in the inner city, you know that their perspective is likely different from school in the urban center. How do you tailor your apparel to
So
make sure that it resonates with the schools or maybe the curriculum? And by the way, here's also the other idea that I'm trying to hint
okay.
at. If you're not doing it, maybe think about curriculums, depending on the different curriculums that is being taught in the school. Maybe you may want to make sure that your apparel also is addressing certain curriculum, if it is STEM oriented, to try to jazz it up a little bit. So it's just a thought. It's a question and also a feedback.
Correct. No, to answer your question, we
Yeah.
are not because often with schools, the way my understanding of schools, usually when they purchase apparel, like you said, they have their own logo on it, right?
Okay.
Their school mascot and everything like that, right? Which would means the only way we can connect with them would be not only have the school mascot, but also have our logo on there as well. So it'd
Okay.
be double logo.
Okay.
And I believe that's a little bit harder, especially
Okay.
with schools, for the
Okay.
simple fact that they're gonna need approval. The
Okay.
price point might be a little bit higher. And usually the only time they do something like that if there's a sponsorship.
Okay.
If there's a company coming in and being a sponsorship where they have their logo in the sponsor. Right. So we wanted the other way around, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right. So we're not sponsoring the school. It's best that the school sponsor us in a way. So we don't do it that way because financially
it's okay. Yeah.
It wouldn't.
I got it. That's legitimate. That's understandable. I can see that. Overcoming obstacles. Could you share some challenges you have encountered along the way and how you have overcome it to keep your mission of promoting STEM education alive?
Wow. So many challenges. I don't know where to start. When you start a business, it's because for example, right? So I was able to get in touch with you, and which was great, right? Which was great. That's a win, I call it. That's a win, right? Because you're gonna get a lot of. So the challenges is building awareness, right? How to because the goal is to get because that's how a business works. The more you sell, the more you can, the more computers I can purchase, the more I can
Yes,
learn. And it all
absolutely.
comes with people knowing who you are, right? So you have to be a very critical thinker, but at the same time, reach out to people to try to get in touch, trying to get them to understand your mission, get them to be part of the process, and get them to see your vision and see if that's something they would want to align themselves with. So a lot of times, especially when you're in the beginning, you're not an all great name like Nike, right? You Nike when you all known. It's like it's Rihanna known. She probably get a ton of things for free when she doesn't need it. But in the beginning, when she was in Barbados singing and everything, it wasn't that easy, even though she
No,
have a
it wasn't.
beautiful voice. So in the
That's true.
beginning, you're gonna come across a lot of obstacles, a lot of no's, a lot of no responses and everything like that. But there's a beauty in that as well. The
It's true.
obstacle is what makes it even better, because there's a rhyme that I'm gonna quote from the rapper 50 Cent. He was like, if it
I
wasn't
love
for
50
pain,
Cent. I love 50
right? He
Cent.
said, if it wasn't, because he's from Queens, because I remember Queens, I live in
Yeah,
Queens.
yeah.
So he said, joy wouldn't feel so good if it
Hmm.
wasn't for pain,
Hmm. Wow, that's
right?
profound.
Right?
That's
And
profound.
that's how I look at life in general,
Right,
right? Coming
right.
from Haiti. So to me, the obstacle is nothing, because my
Hmm.
life growing up, it has always been an obstacle to the point where I'm here talking to you. That's the joy. I had to
Wow.
go through the pain to get to
Right.
the joy. So to me, it's just part of the process.
Okay.
Because that's like my fuel. When I'm going to these obstacles, this is just my fuel, because I'm not gonna stop for the simple fact that this is my life purpose.
Mhm.
For Villa Boys Apparel, or mission is my life purpose. I find
Mhm.
what my purpose is. So
Mhm.
to me, the obstacles mean nothing to me, because I know I am going to succeed in this. It's going to be bigger than I can even imagine. I know that. That's why I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm on this having this conversation with you. I know in the next 5 years, I'm going to look back and smile and appreciate. I appreciate it, but it's going to be a good thing to
Yeah,
look.
I can see it was not to it was not to was not to like. I can see the name. It has longevity. Favela. Literally.
Exactly. So,
I can
so I look
literally
forward
see
to
it.
it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Go
so it's that's the obstacle, is again responses, connecting with people, being able to getting on board podcasts,
ahead. Yeah,
because it's all about the outreach and
absolutely.
partnering and stuff like that. So that's the
Absolutely.
obstacle you come across.
Yeah,
But eventually, I know at some point I'm gonna overcome that. And
absolutely. You're overcoming. One aspect of making it is networking. And you've done it, you're doing it. And hopefully this podcast is just going to be another factor that will help propel you forward. I also asked that question deliberately so that the audience, the kids, can be able to see, and all the students that may be giving up because they feel one way or the other that STEM is too hard. And one of the challenges that we've noticed with our students, with children in our community, they give up a lot because mathematics, they feel I can do math. Even in your family, all you have to do is talk about math sometimes, and everybody say, "Oh, math! Oh, nobody wants to have that conversation." But I'm glad that you share your experience. Nothing that will bring you a lot of benefit comes easy. It's
right,
supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be hard, but it
right,
is doable, right?
right,
We can endure it, we can do well, and we can excel. And there are many examples. You're one example. It's not easy for you, but look at you. You're persevering. But someday you are going to reap the reward of all
right.
your hard work. We suffer enough anyway. This is
Exactly,
nothing.
exactly. I think what it is when things get hard, even going to the gym. I remember, let me give you an example. I remember when I was in high school, that's one thing that stuck with me. Is I was most of my high school and middle school was in ESL classes, right? I
Mhm.
think a lot of ESL.
Okay.
And then eventually I think it's
And what
about
is Can you remind the audience what ESL was?
ESL English is a second language,
Okay.
right? From Haiti and everything.
Yeah.
Majority of my classes were ESL. And then I took accounting. So my last year high school, I took accounting.
Mhm.
I first I enjoy it, and then it get complicated. It was hard, and I couldn't comprehend it, but I'm still going, right? Because my mindset is, listen, even though it get hard, I would rather fall on my face rather than quit, right?
Right.
So one thing a teacher says to me that stuck with me to this day, she was like, Andrew, I see you don't understand it, but you keep trying. No matter how many times you fail, you keep going. I've been out of high school a long time. Till this day, I still remember that. It's something about who I am, my personality, that I've always done, right? But I didn't know people were acknowledge of it, right? I didn't know there was a word or anything to name it, right? So that's something that even in college, I took some math classes that are incredibly hard. Some I failed. Hey, I'm gonna come into the class, I'm gonna keep trying. I'd rather fail multiple times rather than give up. It's
Like
easier to give up. Giving up is the easiest thing.
Right.
But life, you only have one life. Why would I want something easy? If it's easy, I don't want it. Because the journey is what makes it amazing. Because it's like this. You take a flight to Thailand. That's a 16-hour flight. That journey is hard. Be on that plane for 16 hours, that's hard. But once you get to Thailand, it's relaxed, you like it, you love it, you're like, oh, this is amazing. It was worth that hardship of 16 hours. That's how life is. You gotta go to that hardship, and then at the end, that's when you're gonna be sitting on the beach drinking pina colada or whatever, Coca-Cola, right? So that's life. You just gotta go to the hardship, and that's the same thing I do with this business. I'm gonna go to the hardship. I'm gonna get no's. I'm gonna get all these things, but that doesn't fade me because I can see at the end of the road.
Excellent. So actually, that leads me. So, what advice? So, for aspiring change makers, people that want to make a difference, just like you, for individuals who are inspired by your journey and your work, what advice will you give them if they want to make a difference in the community using their skills and the passion? Because you're using your skills and your passion to make a difference. So, what advice will you give?
My advice would be definitely your passion. You gotta love it because when things get hard, your passion is your fuel, right? That's the thing. Because no one's gonna believe in you as much you can believe in yourself, right? You are your own cheerleader, right? You don't, it's not necessary you need your friend or your family to be like, oh, this is gonna work. You don't, like, you have to believe in yourself first, right? It's in order for you to be loved, you need to love yourself, right? So it's the same thing. So you got to love what you're doing, have a passion for it. And then the next thing you got to do is be a creative thinker. If what I would recommend is, if you're not a reader, listen to audiobooks. Listen to as many audiobooks as possible. I love audiobooks, long drive audio, because you're going to get so many information. All this information, at some point, it's going to come to you. Don't rush it. Don't rush the process.
Yeah.
My advice is don't rush the process. Don't try to force it. Don't be like, hey, it's just going to come to you. It's going to come to you. I recommend, if you're not a walker, walk, because when you're walking, your mind is clear.
Yeah.
If you're not a person who will walk, get all your books, and then sometime go for a walk. Go for an hour walk. Go for 30 minutes walk. Just walk. And then as you walk, all these great ideas going to come in your head. And then just like that, something might just, your passion and something else can just come together, and then you create something that is
excellent. Excellent.
amazing.
That's an excellent advice. In terms of future vision, what are your long-term goals for Vela Boys apparel and your
Long-term goal.
education initiatives? How do you envision to impact, in the coming year?
So here's my vision. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Big vision is, oh, wow. So these computers get a lot of people with different skill sets, change their life and everything. At the same time, remember, these computers are mixed-use devices. They can also use for eSports, right?
Yes.
Goal, eventually, I want to have eSports tournaments between people in Nigeria or Ghana competing for big esports. Just like we have World Cups, we're going
Yes,
to develop World Cup of bragging. There's going to be scholarship prize money, right? For
absolutely.
whoever win and everything like that, as well as bragging rights.
I
All
like
these
that.
computers, I want to have like this organization and everything. Eventually, I want to have them all come together. Because esports is the future. It's going to be bigger than NFL, bigger than soccer, bigger than everything you can think of when it comes to gaming. That's the future.
Bigger than soccer?
Bigger than soccer. It's
Wow.
gonna be bigger than soccer, like
Okay.
way bigger than soccer, right? The future for esports is massive.
Okay.
And no one will be and no one will be able to compete with esports. At some point, maybe in the next 30, 40 years, it's gonna be the number one sport.
Okay.
And the thing is, we see the next generation, the young kids already, we have young girls, they're gaming. It's very common, right? Young, like they are gamers as well, right? So I want to have these tournaments at some point. The same device, the same computers that is donated for you to do your cybersecurity, to do coding, to do all these other graphic design, everything you use during the day to get done at night, or the evening, it turns into a gaming device where you are competing, you are training in order for you to compete with other schools and everything. At the same time, you have shoutcasting, you're getting paid for shoutcasting because a lot of viewerships, right? You're getting sponsorships. So not only these schools, these organizations have those devices, but at the same time, they're getting scholarships, they're getting funding, and they're also getting a lot of sponsorship from the gaming. So they'll be able to expand even bigger.
While I'm just listening to you, let's clarify something. Okay. You have a passion in favela boys apparel. That is one. Your daytime job, you're in technology, and you have a passion for esports. It's gaming, like e-gamers, right? And then you want to help in regards to STEM programs by providing, let's say, computers. So where do they all connect?
So here's how it is, right? Okay. All right, I'm gonna bring it all together.
Okay.
The clothing funds the computers.
Okay.
The nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The nonprofit organization takes the computers, they have those kids, they have young adults, and they already have curriculum. This nonprofit got curriculum that's around STEM education already.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Teaching these kids the different STEM skill sets, right? So they have that in place, right? At the same time, a lot of these nonprofit organizations, these kids, they want to game, right? So now they also want to game because gaming, shoutcasting is also part of STEM. Let me explain why. So the gaming, when you look at gaming, let's say, for example, you're playing XYZ game, right? Now you can actually understand, hey, listen, I can do gaming design, right? I can be a shoutcasting, the person that talks and similar to football, right? The shoutcasting person, right? I can be the person who write the gaming, who write the code for the game, right? I can be the person that design the game, right? Which is all STEM related functions, right? So they're all pretty much connected, right? So now you do STEM curriculum early in the day, right? And then at night, maybe you do, if you're one of those nonprofits about gaming, you do gaming, you have these kids competing with other schools. And they're on Twitch and other streaming devices. You see them competing, and they're competing with, because there's a lot of what we'll call it gaming platform where kids go and game to get scholarships and everything.
I see. Right? I see.
So now they can go and game to get scholarships, and in some gamers, so 12, 13 years old, they're multimillionaires.
Wow.
At 12, at 13.
Seriously. Wow.
Yeah, 12, 13, they're multimillionaires for the
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, you have Intel, you have all these major organization companies sponsoring them. Some of them, Logitech, one gamer, Logitech make a mouse that's specifically fit for his hand that they sell, right? And let me give you an example. I was at a conference for Intel, and there was one gamer from Brazil that was a gamer that came from Brazil that was a sponsor gamer by Intel.
Wow.
And she came in to talk about gaming.
Wow.
So gaming is massive in our community, especially in the African American community in the inner cities. We don't know that. But when I go to these conferences, when I go to this gaming tournament, a lot of us are not represented. We don't know. But you see the parents that are there, they're mostly Caucasian parents. They understand it. They know it. Right? So
it's good to know.
The kids are benefiting from it.
Wow. Wow. So in regards to, in terms of career paths, how will this impact, or how will that position them to be able to get a great job, let's say, in the STEM industry?
In the STEM, it's actually going to benefit them massively because you have the skill sets already in place. You're learning the skill set. You can go get a certification.
Like
You're
coding.
prepared a lot of time, especially the organization I work in Brazil. They're already working with companies. As soon as they complete their certification, they are working automatically.
Wow.
A lot of organizations we work with, we are teaching them blockchain, right? So they teach being taught black skill set, you're going to need 30, 20 years from now. So by the time you're done, you are good to go. And that changed, because you're talking about that changed your life, your family life completely. You went from making, I don't know how much you are making a year to making 6 figures or more. So now you can be an engineer.
Yeah.
Software engineer.
That's epic. Oh my.
So this is the big picture of Favela Boys Apparel. This is why I'm passionate about it, because like I said, I want to make a difference. I want to change lives. And that's how I'm going to do it without asking, hey, can you donate? No, I have a brand that is cool to wear. It has a mission. We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen.
I love that. I love that. In terms of community engagement, I love that. How do you engage your community to ensure that go ahead, please.
So from a community engagement, what we do is pop-up shops. We go to, for example, we have different pop-ups that's in the community.
Okay.
So you have what they call Black and everything like that. Things like that. In Brooklyn, you have Bill Black Best Eye.
Okay.
So you have your pop-up, you have your everything that tells your story. People call, oh, I love this idea, and they purchase that way. So it's more of, you're building it from ground up. But at the same time, like I'm doing that, but at the same time, I'm also doing different outreach, right? To get to, because I can do it like that, which is cool. It's a lot of work. But at the same time, hey, if I get somebody like you said, Rihanna, then you went from millions of people know who you are, and that automatically changes the dynamic, because now I'm getting much more devices out there.
Absolutely.
And it's going to help many more people.
Yeah, I totally get it. I love that community. In regards to churches, what about churches? Have you thought about going to churches? Maybe pick one or two churches, talk to the pastor and say, look, I have this apparel, I'm on a mission, right? I'm talking to you because I'm thinking about doing something similar.
Just, you know what? You give me a lot of good ideas, man. Like, I have to be honest. I wasn't even thinking about that. Now I'm gonna go to churches, and as well as the library. I'm gonna start doing that because I wasn't even thinking about that. I don't think that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. We have to talk, give each other, share some ideas, because we're all in the same fight to try to see more representation of our people in the BIPOC community and the STEAM field, because it is important for the health of our community. We both see the benefit. One thing that I would like to say before I give you the last word is, if you do ever meet Rihanna, tell her that she has a big fan.
I'll let her know. I'm gonna have a shirt for her newborn.
Right, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Congratulations to her on that. I think that's a big deal. Legacy and impact. As we conclude, looking into the future, what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work in promoting STEM education and empowering the underserved communities?
Oh, that's a big question. That's a huge question. I guess the impact I want to have is that I want that community to have to be more confident in self, understanding that, hey, listen, we are more than what we were told that we are. We came from we came from a background of kings and queens, and we were doctors and lawyers and philosophers before we came here through slavery and the diasporas in before colonization of Africa as well, right? I want to leave this legacy that, hey, we can be bigger than that, right? We are, not can be, we are. We just haven't tapped into, we haven't had the access, these resources. So that's the legacy I want to have. I want to change that whole mindset, that whole entertainment mindset that we have. We can start being more professionals. Yes, you can be a singer, a rapper, and everything. Yes, you can do that. But at the same time, you can be lawyers, doctors, and cybersecurity professionals and engineers and stuff like that as well. So that's why I want to leave behind. That's why
Excellent.
is going to leave behind.
Excellent. If people want to get in contact with your organization, how can they reach you? Do you want to give some information?
Correct. If you go to info@favelaboysapparel.com, you can reach out to me. Just go on my website. You can go to a contact information. You can send me an email there and you should get in touch with me. Or better yet, you can Endro Metellus on LinkedIn. Endro, ENDROW, Metellus, METELUS. You put my name on there. There's not that many Endros. And then you should be able to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. And that's the best way to find me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate you. I just would like to end this by saying STEAM, it plays a pivotal role in our community because it encompasses essential elements such as public health advancement, economical growth, agricultural resources, waste management, technology, and sustainability. These areas are crucial and integral to the innovation across various industries, consistently ranking among the top 10 fields of innovation. This podcast, STEAM, Spark, Think, STEAM Career Podcast, delves or dives into ever-evolving landscape of science, technology, arts, mathematics, and engineering. It explored the intersection of this academic and career paths while shedding light on the underrepresentation of the Blacks, the indigenous or people of color, and the people of color in the STEAM collegial programs and professions. As the STEAM field transforms, this podcast aims to engage with individuals who are champion STEAM education and have a first-hand experience in STEAM careers. By sharing their insights, the content seeks to provide perspective on how the BIPOC community can become integral part of the STEAM multidisciplinary field that drives innovation within our community. Additionally, this podcast discusses the strategy to boost the BIPOC participation in the STEAM field, thereby enriching the quality of research, data collection, and innovation by incorporating diverse viewpoints. This podcast aspire to create awareness about the significance of STEM and STEAM education, providing empowerment for the upcoming BIPOC generation. It aims to help them to envision themselves in the realm of STEM and in STEAM, ultimately fostering increased representation in the field and sparking novel research and innovation. The interview and the resources shared through the podcast are compiled to provide valuable information for STEAM students, professionals, and enthusiasts. My name is Dr. Ayo Olufade. I'm the host of STEM Sparks, Think STEM Career Podcast. I want to thank you for joining us today on this podcast. This has actually been a great episode. It's really great to have a young man trying to change the world through his skills and passion. My hope is also that the young people that are watching this program will be able to see that they also can be part of this innovation, and it will definitely enrich their life. I would like you to support Favela Boys Apparel. It is very important. Remember, 15% of his profit will go towards as his STEAM program initiatives. I also would like you to support my podcast. I'm also coming with sauce, African sauce and oil to actually focus more on, because I do believe that Africans, we also have red sauce too. And you can use that red sauce just like Italian sauce to do many things in terms of cooking. So support my program, please. It is very important that you, if you like what you're seeing, the episodes that I'm bringing, please do support STEAM Sparks, Think STEAM Career Podcast. And the last point that I would like to ask you to do is also support a friend of mine. His podcast is called The Question Guy. He is trying to raise awareness to mental health. So if you can go on YouTube, he's up there. Just look up The Question Guy. Mental health, as we all know, is very important in our community. So I want to thank you again, everyone. Thank you so much, Andrew, coming onto this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
You too.